Hey guys, I'm really excited today to welcome Nick Pearson to my podcast. He's one of the few guests I've had on my podcast, and I would like him to introduce himself to you guys because I think he's absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you very much for introducing me there like that. As she said, my name is Nick Pearson. I am the owner and founder of Endless Inspirations, which we sell craft items and products. And we also blog about different ways of using those products and crafting in maybe a different way that you haven't thought of in a mixed media art world. Kind of stumbled into this a couple years ago. My background is a little weird. 20 years ago, I started doing counted cross stitch.
Oh, interesting.
I actually started counted cross stitch myself as a way to break myself from a bad habit. I was a bartender at the time, and I was living that lifestyle. I don't need to go into details on that, but I was breaking away from bartending because it was getting old for one thing, and it was killing me for the other.
Definitely.
And so I needed to replace a bad habit with a good habit. And so I took up cross stitch, and I'm not sure yet if I've really replaced the good habit or not, but I will say that, so for 20 years I've been doing cross stitch, and I enjoy the heck out of it. I really do.
Yeah.
It's very therapeutic. It takes your mind off of things. And so I started that and kind of stumbled on doing something like that on Etsy.
Okay.
And I kind of got myself in a little bit of trouble because I started designing. I have software to be able to design patterns. And so I thought I would go ahead and start designing sports logos for professional football teams.
I see.
And baseball and basketball. And as you know, that's all trademark stuff, and kind of got myself in a little bit of trouble. So I have my own designs as well. So I've been working on those and kind of growing those. But I really wanted something different. And I wanted something a little bit that was going to be a little different. I'm not a crafter per se, except for the cross stitch. But I learned all about the products from a previous marriage. Okay. My ex is a big crafter.
I see.
And so I learned about these things. So I stumbled across this product, which is not really a crafting product. We started looking at it, and so people use this for their mixed media and jelly plate printings and different types, and it's deli paper.
Deli paper?
The kind that you wrap your sandwiches in.
Oh, and what, you use that for cross-stitching?
No, you use that for painting.
Oh, interesting. I had no idea.
Okay, it's I'm going to create something on my website for your listeners. Okay, so the link will be endlessinspirations.net/boom, BOOM.
Perfect.
So that way your listeners can check it out. And of course, there'll be some tips on there on deli paper, how to use it, and where you can get it.
Wow. Okay. Awesome.
Okay. So put that out for your listeners. And people use it for jelly plate printings. Jelly plates it looks like jelly. It looks like a gelatin.
Interesting.
There's no chemicals in it other than, it's food safe. Okay. Same with the deli paper, of course, because you're going to wrap a sandwich in it if you wanted to. Yeah. So stumbled across that and started selling that a little bit on eBay and on Etsy. Didn't really see too much traffic on Etsy. Then I stumbled on Amazon, and decided to take the plunge there, and it took off.
Really? Amazon versus Etsy? Really? Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm the only person selling like this on Amazon.
Right. Right.
Okay. So I was very fortunate, and I feel very blessed that I got into it when I did. Amazon's a bit of a plunge for selling because there's a $40 a month initial cost.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Almost $39.99. You get your first month free.
Right.
But it's a monthly cost, and you have fees on top of that for each sale you make. So you really got to make sure that your product is going to take off. You can't go on to Amazon hoping.
Yeah, no,
definitely
not.
You just can't, because you may fail.
Yes. Yeah.
And the nice thing about Amazon is also their fulfillment by Amazon program. So if you want to be a traveler, or you just want to live that digital nomad lifestyle, which we know so many people who do that, you can actually either have your products shipped there, and they will fulfill your orders as people purchase. You just got to maintain your account.
Right.
Okay. Or you can do kind of like what I do, because I'm not a digital nomad. I'm more of a homebody, and I fulfill my own orders right now, because I just don't have the massive volume that I would need to outsource or justify the cost of fulfillment by Amazon. But you can do that, and I know I have a friend who actually her and her husband sell fulfillment by Amazon, and they make $50,000 a month in revenue.
What do they sell?
Just about anything they can.
Really? So they just buy, I guess, on wholesale, and then they just sell on Amazon?
Yeah, and there was another podcast that I actually listened to a while back that this couple would go through and buy stuff at your big box stores that were on clearance. And there's actually an app, and I think that I have the app. It's the seller app. They could do a scan on it and see what it would actually go for on Amazon, and if it was worth buying it in bulk there. And of course, they were selling. They would buy it, and then they would send it to their whatever Amazon was closest to them, and have fulfillment by Amazon for them. And they were doing, last I heard, they were doing over $100,000 in net revenue, not gross.
Oh my goodness.
And, this is just going around, spending 2 or 3 hours, maybe a day. It may be
insane.
They may go around, once a week and go through all the stores and buy all the clearance items they can.
Oh my goodness.
Send them on Amazon and make that money. I mean, it was,
God.
And it allows a freedom.
Yeah.
It allows a certain amount of freedom. For example, we were conversing about this earlier. When my stepkids are at a park right now, and they're chasing invisible creatures known as Pokemon.
Yeah, it's insane.
And I'll be honest, I enjoy the heck out of it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I'm a geocacher, and so it's the thrill of the hunt.
Yeah,
and the same goes for the Pokemon.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this afternoon going out to the park with them, and going and chasing these invisible creatures. So the freedom that this allows is allows you to live the lifestyle you want to live,
right.
And not just, you're not stuck behind a desk or behind a table or 20 years ago behind a bar counter. You actually have the ability to tailor the lifestyle you want to live.
Right.
And that I enjoy.
Oh my God, I can imagine. I can totally imagine. Especially when you were a bartender, I'm sure from being a bartender to moving to this, rather than moving to a 9 to 5, was obviously a step for you, right? I mean, I can't imagine you being an energetic bartender, moving around, being active, and then sitting at a desk at a 9 to 5 computer thing. Like it wouldn't make any sense for you. It doesn't make any sense with your personality, with everything that you do.
Well, what's interesting though is that when I was bartending, I lived here in San Antonio.
Okay.
In Texas, okay. I moved away from San Antonio to Reno, Nevada in 1998 and went to work in the gaming industry.
Okay.
And I worked my way through that. I was actually a floor person that handed out change, and then I was someone that would help key off machines and pay off jackpots. And then from there, I went from there to fixing slot machines.
I see. That is interesting. You've done a lot of random things in your life.
But they all tie together. It's very interesting.
They do.
Okay, because it's all service based. It was all, bartending and all that was service based. But I also was, I built my own computers. Back then it was cheaper to actually build your own computer than to buy it from the store, because it was just hideously expensive to buy it all at once.
Right.
Yeah, so I learned how to do that. So that's how I was able to get into that field, which was a good thing, because in the early to mid 2000s, they went from having machines that would spit coins out to having machines that would spit tickets out.
Oh.
So there was less people needed on the slot floor.
Right.
Because lovely automation, unfortunately, takes the people out of a service-based industry.
Yes.
And it's very sad because a lot of people lost their jobs because of that.
Of course, yeah.
So, but I was fortunate enough that I kind of saw the writing on the wall with a certain brand of machine, so I migrated to it. And then I got the opportunity to become a supervisor in that field, which did put me behind a desk, did put me in a 9 to 5 situation, actually more like a 7 to 4 situation.
Right.
But it was, I learned a lot. I was able to learn a lot about analysis, because I learned how to analyze the performance of the slot machines, and learned about numbers, and learned about how to use those office products that I can use now for my own business.
Yeah.
So it all seems like randomness.
I know what you're talking about.
But if you just trust in, I'm a Christian and I'm Catholic, so I will speak from my own spiritual and faith foundation on this. Yes. If you trust in the Holy Spirit,
yep,
and you allow the Holy Spirit to guide you, it doesn't seem so random after all.
No, it does not. It definitely does not. It's just amazing. I just love this stuff. You were so right.
So I was a bartender. I'm going to tie this all together because I can see it now.
Yeah.
I was a bartender because when I was a kid, I was real shy.
Oh.
So I needed to get out of being shy. The only way you can do that is to be in front of people, and you have to be entertaining, because everybody expects the bartender to be entertaining.
Yes.
If the bartender is a stick that just serves drinks, you make no money.
Yeah.
And you're not in the industry in the industry for very long. I was
right.
I was a bartender for 8 years. So I learned how to put myself out there.
Yeah.
And it applies now. I put myself out there. I still put myself out there. If I was the 18-year-old kid that I was, way back, I wouldn't have put myself out there. And so you have to put yourself out there. You have to take risks. And the reward in life is when you take the risks, when you get uncomfortable doing that. So I put myself in an uncomfortable situation, and I hurt myself in some ways because I wanted to live that lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And so when I moved to Reno, I was able to get into an industry that allowed me to find my way into a place where I could learn more than just how to fix something, but how to use something like Excel mm-hmm. and Word and, all those things that many people take for granted, PowerPoint and stuff like that.
Yeah. So
I learned all of that and learned how to apply it in a way that I can now use it for my business. Mm-hmm. By the way, to kind of update you, I am now back in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, you are? Okay.
So, interesting story. This is the Holy Spirit talking, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, I was married when I was living in Reno, and then actually I was married a year ago.
Oh, just a year ago.
Well, I was married up to a year ago to this one woman, okay? And in May of last year, she decided that she no longer wanted to be Mrs. Pearson. Mm-hmm. She decided to leave.
Yeah.
Which, I wish her well. I have no hard feelings. It hurt. But we'd been growing apart, so she had the courage to leave when I didn't. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. So, went through a lengthy divorce process, mm-hmm. and towards the end of that process, I reunited with someone that I've known since I was 8 years old.
Wow, really?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
So what's interesting about that is that we grew up, we went to the same schools, mm-hmm. we graduated from the same high school.
Yeah.
But we didn't really run in the same circles. We just kind of knew each other. Okay. And we had friended on Facebook a couple of years before that. So we kind of, she saw that I was going through something and just reached out to be a friend, And so things kind of took off, and we were extremely honest with each other. And that's the one thing that I want to stress is that when you're in a relationship, either in a friendship or in a business relationship or just whatever type of relationship you have, mm-hmm. be as honest as you can be with those people, because you never know what's going to come out of it. And, being honest means being true to yourself, of course. And, also honoring that other person. So I was very blatantly honest, and, because she lived here in San Antonio, and, I'll never see her, it's 1,800 miles away. What have I have to lose? So I was brutally honest with how I felt, and she was brutally honest with me for the same reasons. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, we kept talking and kept talking and kept talking a lot more frequently. And in May of this year, we married.
Wow. That's amazing.
So she is not just my wife and my life partner. She's also my business partner. Mm-hmm. She takes care of a lot of the content that is on the website that you find at Endless Inspirations, and comes up with some outstanding ideas.
Right.
So I think we're just in the, we're obviously still newlyweds and still in the infancy of this relationship. But we, out of that stark honesty and openness, allows us to be open to this day. There's nothing that I feel that I have to hold back. And that's the thing that you should feel, is you should never feel like you have to hold back. Yeah. If you're in a marriage, if you're in a business partnership, if you are in a friendship, you should not feel like you have to hold back something from that person, because really then you're not being true to yourself.
Right.
And that's how I feel. And when I'm posting on Facebook, or when I'm posting on I have another website that's a faith-based website that I like to blog on. Don't hold back. Because if you don't, if you hold back, then you're kind of cheating yourself.
Totally agree.
And that's how you should live your life. You should live your life by just going full bore. Don't hold back. Because when you do hold back, then you limit yourself. And limiting yourself puts you in that box that you don't want to be in.
No. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I just love that you're actually saying that, and the whole thing about Holy Spirit, because I believe, I'm not Christian, obviously. I'm born Hindu, but I believe there's a higher power, and we're all, connected to it somehow. And it's interesting, all of the skills, like you said, all of the skills that I use right now in business are skills that I've learned over the past few years through other things I've done. And I never thought that I'd be using those skills again, but they're just coming up over and over again. And I'm just so grateful that I actually had a chance to learn those skills, because I wouldn't be so far ahead right now if I didn't know those skills, So I just love that. And the whole thing about honesty, it's so scary. It's so scary to be honest online, because it's online and everyone can see it and it's there forever. You're putting it out there, and people 100 years from now will be able to see it. And you're just being so vulnerable, and it's scary. I, at first, especially being an introvert, I'm an extremely introverted person. It doesn't seem like that at first because I'm so bubbly and stuff, but I like my privacy. And so being honest online, telling everyone about what I like to do, what I'm trying to do, was so scary. I was terrified. And I'm so glad that you brought that point up, because it's so important to do that in order to make connections. You would never make those strong connections if you weren't vulnerable. So I love that.
Exactly. You just never know what's going to come out of it when you're vulnerable. And, Mark Twain said it best, I think. I think it was Mark Twain, anyway, that says that honesty means you never have to remember anything. And it's the truth.
Yeah.
When you tell the truth and you're honest and you're true to yourself and you're true to everything about yourself, then you never have to think about what you're doing. You just do it. You take that action that is true to you, and you take that action that is genuine, authentic, unique, and I don't know all the other adjectives and adverbs you might want to think of, but it maintains who you are, and it allows you to be that person that stands out in the room just by being yourself. And I'm like you, I am an introvert, but I have learned over the years and have really broken myself out to be an introverted extrovert.
Yeah.
Basically, okay? Mm-hmm. I can be just as happy sitting in a room quietly as I can be in a room full of people. Mm-hmm. And it's because I put myself in those situations that allow that to happen. And, through that uncomfort of being in that room full of people and having all that attention focused on you,
right,
then I have learned that it's not as scary as you think it is.
No.
Sometimes it's draining. It is, and for introverts, being in a room full of people can be just draining.
Yeah.
But I've learned how to rechannel that so that it actually continues to feed. And I do that in such a way that I try to have those one-on-one conversations so that I don't feel like I'm in a room full of people.
Right.
I feel like I'm just talking to one person. And yeah, you got all the noise behind you and you got everything going on. But even in the room full of people, when you focus on that one person, you give them all of yourself, then it's not as draining as you think it is. It's actually you kind of feed it kind of feeds you back. At least it does for me. I can't really say. So the situations that I've also, put myself in that's scary.
Yeah.
Okay. My journey of faith started in 2013, and I became Catholic in 2014. After I became fully Catholic and was able to be fully involved in the Catholic Church, my first thing to do was to say, okay, I want to be a lector. A lector is someone that actually gets up and you have 2 readings. Well, actually, you have 3 readings on Sundays. You have one from the Old Testament, except during the time of Pentecost. You have a New Testament reading, and then you have the Gospel, which is usually read by one of the clergy. Okay? So you have lay people, ordinary people like myself, that, although I don't consider myself ordinary. But
I was going to say, I don't think I would either.
So you have people like myself who would get up and read one of those passages, either the first reading or the second reading, the Old Testament or the New Testament.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how scary that is. You're in a room full of people that okay?
Right.
So you should feel comfortable. But it's scary.
Yeah.
Each and every time. But it gets easier and easier.
Yeah.
And you learn how to manage that fear. And you're like, okay, I'm in the right place. If it scares you, you should do it. In a healthy way. There are certain things that scare you that you shouldn't do. You shouldn't jump off of a cliff, okay? Because there's a reason for that kind of a fear. But
yeah,
there's a healthy fear that puts you in that uncomfortable situation. And I learned how to enjoy that uncomfortable feeling, and allowed me to actually project and to speak, and it actually opened some doors in my mind about what I wanted to do. And I have decided I want to be a public speaker.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
One of these days. I'm 50 now. I've got time.
You've got loads of time.
I got loads of time. So, matter of fact, I just found out today that I've been accepted to go to the university that I've wanted to go to since I was 13.
Which university is that?
It's the University of the Incarnate Word here in San Antonio.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's a very prestigious university here. I don't know how prestigious it is as far as everybody else goes. But here, it was like a dream, to go to that. So to be able to go and achieve a degree, these are things that I've had on my list for a long time. And I want to get a degree for my own personal reasons, but also to be that example for my kids.
Yep.
My daughter and my daughters and my sons, and to show that it's never too late.
No, that's amazing.
It's never too late to chase your dreams. And if you give up on your dreams, you've given up on a part of yourself that you shouldn't have ever give up on.
I love that. I'm so excited for you. You are, you're getting things done off your bucket list, and like, it's such a powerful message. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are. People sometimes, even I'm 32, and people in my age group sometimes say, oh no, I'm too old to start a business, or I'm too old to go back to school. And I just can't imagine. I mean, when is it too early? When are you not too old? It doesn't make any sense anymore. So I'm so glad you're doing this. That's amazing.
So, and actually I've gone to school before, okay? I was attending University of Phoenix, and I just didn't feel fulfilled. on the degree plan I was going after. So I'm actually going after something now that makes a lot more sense.
Right.
The degree program in organizational development.
I see.
It's kind of something along the lines of what I was doing before I left my 9 to 5 in the gaming industry. I was basically a project manager and also teaching people how to organize and be able to, go from, step A to step B to step C.
Right.
And how do you, so what do you need to do for this? This is what you need to do. This is what you need to have. So those things I've already got, some experience in. Mm-hmm. So it just makes sense to go after a degree that I already have experience in. And that was the part of the job I really did enjoy. Right. What I didn't enjoy was the long hours and the being on demand 24/7, so to speak.
Right.
So, now I have a lot more of my own time. My time is back in my pocket, not in someone else's. And I think
so
that
important.
And that's just it. If you enjoy doing all that and you're able to feel fulfilled in that, great. Then that's what you should be doing. Okay. But if you're not feeling fulfilled, it's not something that you dreamt about, then find something else, grow something. I mean, when I knew that this was not the career path, this was not the life path I wanted, that's when I started developing Endless Inspirations. Mm-hmm. And it went through some major iterations. The product lines that I had diminished greatly because some of the stuff that was designed and that was part of Endless Inspirations went away with the divorce.
I see.
So I had one product left, just paper, and that was it. Yeah. So, but out of that paper, I've been able to do very well. And we've launched some new products. So that's been great. But the lifestyle and the life changes that we have, we have the power over our life.
Yeah. It's so important.
And if you don't make those decisions for yourself, someone else will. As a matter of fact, I have a writing, and I'm going to bring it up. I've got to find it, so bear with me for just a second.
No worries. Take your time.
I wrote this a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. When I realized that coming in at 4 o'clock in the morning and then leaving at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, working 12-hour days, was just going to kill me.
Yes, that makes sense.
And it was someone else telling me to do these things. Okay. So I sat down and I was like, really not feeling this. The title of this is called Guy with a Tie. Okay. That's the person who makes the decisions that affect you and what you do and what you cannot do. His or her decisions may not always make sense to you and me, but he or she is the decider. That person is pervasive in all things. A person is the one that in charge at work, the one that decides that if you get approved for a loan, the one that says yay or nay on a bill that affects your life. Do you want them to decide your fate, or do you want to be in charge of your fate? Decide, or the guy with the tie will do it for you.
So true. Oh my God, I love that. The guy with the tie. That's awesome.
Well, so I had a vendor come in from a slot machine company. He was a technician, and he was working on one of the slot machines. And he says, "Yep, them guys with the ties walking around, and so it just clicked. It was like, okay, I like that. Yeah. So I just ran with it, and it's the truth. the guy with the tie is the one that's going to be the decider. And he may not be the one that should make the decision, but he's the one that gets to make the decision.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you don't take responsibility for your own life, which a lot of people don't. They give away responsibility to everyone else around them, their parents, the government, Donald Trump or whatever it might be. And so you need to take back responsibility. Definitely.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what your party affiliation is here in the States or anywhere else for that matter, okay? Don't allow others to tell you how to live your life. You should be able to live the life the way you want to, the way you should feel fulfilled, okay? And fulfillment should be a positive thing. It should never be a negative thing. It shouldn't come at the detriment of others. It should come to the way that it actually enhances people around you.
Right. And
not just yourself. I mean, you get your own personal fulfillment, of course, but I'm more fulfilled whenever I get an email back from a customer that says, "Hey, look at what I created from your from buying this product." That's, to me, is exciting.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Those are exciting things. Those are exciting things for me. Or getting that response back on a Facebook post and saying, "Hey, that was great information. Thank you for sharing that."
Yeah.
And those are the things that you should feel more fulfilled about, is how you're making an impact on people. It's not just about money.
No, definitely.
Life is not about making money and paying bills.
No, but a lot of people do make it about that, definitely.
And at the end of your life, how do you want to be remembered? Yes. We have a number that we start with. We have a number that we end with, and between that's a dash.
Yeah.
How do you want that dash to be remembered?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I approach life, and that's the way it should be. I have a very faith-centered life. My wife and I are very, faith-centered in our Christian faith. I'm Catholic, she's Methodist, so there's some slight differences, but there was only one Jesus Christ, so that's how we base it on. It's just that's how we believe.
Yeah.
And it allows us to have a deep-rooted belief in something that is more than us. So then when we build our goals and we build the thing, we have those visions, right now where Endless Inspirations it's not the vision of what we have. We want to be competing with the Hobby Lobbies of the world somewhere down the road, and that sounds like a lofty goal, but if you're not setting lofty goals, what are you doing?
What's the point? Yeah.
What's the point? And even if we don't achieve that lofty goal, we'll achieve something.
It'll excite you more to set these lofty goals. You're more excited about them than setting a goal of getting through the day without fighting with someone. I mean, like the small goals that most people set, This is more exciting, The fact that you're setting this amazing goal and the fact that you will reach it because you have set it. I mean, that's so exciting. You're probably getting up every day, excited to go to work and make this happen.
And, we're in a small space right now. I'm actually, my office is in our bedroom.
Yeah.
Because
I see that.
we don't have a whole lot of space, but we have big dreams, and we've talked about those dreams coming to fruition. We want to redesign our garage and make that an office space.
Good idea.
So we're going to we're looking at doing that when it's not 1,000 degrees here in South Texas. 1,000 degrees to go along with 1,000% humidity. And I've been away for 18 years, so that's a big difference for me. It could be 1,000 degrees in Reno, Nevada, but it's like 2% humidity.
It's dry. It's dry
it's
heat.
Very dry.
Yeah.
So you don't feel it as much. Plus, when the evening comes, the temperatures drop.
Yeah.
So it drops very nicely and very cool in the evenings there. So not so here. It stays hot. And But that's okay. You know, it is what it is. But you know, the lofty goals that we have, you don't know how you're going to do it, but I know I'm going to do it.
I know. I can tell that you're going to make it for sure. That is amazing. Thank you so much for chatting with me and you know, chatting about all of this amazing stuff for our podcast listener. I'm so grateful that I set up these interviews and I never know how they're going to turn out because I want to keep them conversational style. Mm-hmm. And so I just love the way you took us through your life and through the journey that you've had and all the gems of wisdom that you've thrown at us. I am so grateful. Thank you so much, Nick.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Just, you know, remember one thing, that no matter what your age is, it's never too late to chase your dreams.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And again, if you guys want to get a hold of Nick, it's endlessinspirations.net/boom for our special design that you've made for us, or endlessinspirations.net in general if you want to check out his designs and other things. So thank you again, and I'll talk to you guys later. Next time I'm going to be having another guest on my show, but we'll talk about that when it comes through. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.